Halo guys, di vlog kali ini gue mau jelasin ya bahas-bahas principle of flight ya. Kita lihat sesuai judulnya gue dapet dari YouTube nih, channel ini lumayan nih. Kita belajar bareng, ini bahasa Inggris jadi gue bahasnya pakai bahasa Indonesia. Oke guys, mari kita mulai.
While an airplane is in flight, there are four forces acting upon it.
Jadi kalau pesawat lagi terbang itu ada 4 force ya. Ada yang di atas, di bawah, belakang, sama depan.
They are lift, weight, thrust, and drag.
Jadi force yang di atas itu lift, yang di bawah weight, yang di depan thrust, yang di belakang drag.
Lift is the upward force created by the wings as air flows around them.
Jadi lift itu di atas yang tercipta karena adanya sayap pesawat ini menghasilkan lift ya, ininya sayapnya ya, karena ada airflow di sekitar sayapnya.
And keeps the airplane in the air.
Terus dia membuat pesawatnya tetap ada di udara.
Weight is the downward force toward the center of the earth.
Jadi weight itu force yang ke bawah, yang ke arah bumi ya, ke center of the earth, ke tengah bumi dia maksudnya.
Opposite lift, which exists due to gravity.
Jadi weight itu opposite-nya lift ya. Lawannya lift itu weight. Terjadi karena adanya gravitasi.
Next, we have thrust. This is the forward force.
Terus ada thrust, ini force ke depan.
Generally created by the aircraft's propellers or turbine engines.
Terjadi karenanya adanya propeller atau turbine engine. Atau biasanya kalau pesawat besar tuh karena jet ya.
Which pulls or pushes the aircraft through the air.
Nah, dia itu bakal narik atau dorong melalui udara ya, push or pull.
Finally, there is drag.
Terus yang terakhir ada drag ya.
Drag is the force acting in the direction opposite of thrust, which fundamentally limits the performance of the airplane.
Jadi drag itu dia opposite-nya thrust, terus yang dia melimitasikan performance pesawatnya ya.
When an aircraft is maintaining its heading, altitude, and airspeed, it is said to be in straight and level, unaccelerated flight.
Jadi kalau dia maintain ini semua,
And airspeed, it is said to be in straight and level, unaccelerated flight.
jadi kalau dia maintain ini semua, berarti ini pesawat tegak lurus ya, straight and level. Terus dia nggak ada akselerasinya ya, penerbangannya nggak ada akselerasi, jadi dia konstan aja, nggak akselerasi. Dia nggak ada climbing, nggak ada descent. Di 3000 di sini headingnya to the north, speednya konstan 100 knots. 3000 feet to the north, 100 knots.
In unaccelerated flight, lift equals weight and thrust equals drag.
Jadi kalau unaccelerated flight, kalau yang tadi itu pesawatnya nggak akselerasi, lift sama dengan weight, thrust sama dengan drag ya.
Let's look at these four forces in a little more detail.
Nah sekarang bakal dibahas 4 force itu lebih
The
detail.
key to an aircraft being able to fly is lift.
Jadi yang membuat pesawat bisa terbang itu namanya lift ya.
Looking at a cross-section of a wing, we
Nah ini sayap nih ya, bentuk pesawat sayap nih ya kalau dilihat dari samping ya.
can better understand how the lift gets generated.
Nah sekarang mau dibahas kenapa bisa terjadi lift.
A wing is a type of airfoil. Airfoils in
Jadi sayap itu adalah jenis aerofoil.
general are just generated. A wing is a type of airfoil. Airfoils in general are just any surface that generates an aerodynamic force.
Jadi airfoil itu adalah apa katanya?
Airfoils in general are just any surface that generates an aerodynamic force.
Jadi airfoil itu adalah
A fluid. Foils in general are just any surface that
surface yang menghasilkan dynamic force ya. Jadi surface yang menghasilkan dynamic force.
generates an aerodynamic force as a fluid.
Yang menghasilkan dynamic force dengan fluid ya. Fluid ini nih ada. Jadi dia ada yang lewat-lewat ini nih. Terjadi dynamic force.
In our case, air moves around it.
Karena ada udara yang bergerak di sekitarnya ya. Terjadinya aerodynamic force.
That generates an aerodynamic force as a fluid. In our case, air moves around it.
Tuh, jadinya udara bergerak di sekitarnya nih.
Generates an aerodynamic force as a fluid. In our case, air moves around it. Don't confuse a fluid with a liquid. Fluids are any substance that deform under an applied stress. Liquids, gases, and plasmas are all considered fluids.
Jadi itu dari fluid ya, dibahas fluid itu apa.
In addition to the wings, all the flight control surfaces, as well as the propeller, are considered airfoils.
Nah, jadinya tuh selain sayap, flight controls ini sama sama ini propeller dan ini juga disebut aerofoil ya. Cuman mereka tidak bisa menghasilkan sebagus sayap pesawat.
The aircraft's fuselage is even an airfoil.
Nah, ini fuselage namanya, juga airfoil juga.
But it's not very good at producing lift.
Nah, dia nggak bagus menghasilkan
Before
lift
we
ya.
get too in-depth, let's introduce a few new terms. The forwardmost point of the wing is called the leading edge.
Nah, jadinya posisi yang paling depan ini namanya leading edge ya. Ini leading edge, nanti ini trailing edge. Coba kita lihat.
Few new terms. The forwardmost point of the wing is called the leading edge. The aftmost point is called the trailing edge. If we connect these two edges together with an imaginary line, this line is called the chord line.
Nah, jadi ini leading edge, ini trailing edge, yang ini chord line ya. Ini sayap nih ya, sayap pesawat ya, aerofoil.
As an airplane flies through the air, the path that the plane travels along is known as its flight path.
Nah, jadinya jalur yang diterbangkan pesawat lurus ini namanya flight path ya.
The airflow that flows around the airplane as it travels through the air is known as the relative wind.
Nah, jadinya airflow yang melewati pesawat-pesawat ini namanya relative wind.
The relative wind is parallel to, but opposite, the aircraft's flight path.
Jadi relative wind itu berlawanan dengan flight path pesawat.
The angle between the wing's chord line and the aircraft's relative wind is called the aircraft's angle of attack.
Nah, jadinya tadi apa katanya?
Wing's chord line and the aircraft's relative wind.
Jadinya ini antara wing chord line-nya sama relative wind ini namanya angle of attack.
Is called the aircraft's angle of attack. The angle of attack is a major factor as to how much lift the wings generate.
Jadi angle of attack itu yang bakal menentukan seberapa banyak lift yang bakal dihasilkan sama pesawat.
The angle of attack is a major factor as to how much lift the wings generate. So now that we've got those terms out of the way, how does a wing actually create lift?
Nah, sekarang mau dijelasin gimana sayap bisa menghasilkan lift ya. Gimana aircraft wings bisa menghasilkan lift.
Well, there are two major theories working in
Nah, ini nih yang teori yang diciptakan sama Daniel Bernoulli sama Sir Isaac Newton nih. Sir Isaac Newton.
that explain the creation of lift. These are Newton's three laws of motion.
Nah, ini Newton's three laws of motion.
And Bernoulli's principle.
Sama Bernoulli's principle nih, dipakai nih kalau lu baru mulai flying school, ini dua dipakai pasti. Dijelasin kenapa bisa terjadinya lift.
While all three laws of motion apply to flight,
Nah, Newton law of motion. Laws, bukan love. Laws of motion. A body at rest remain at rest or in motion until acted upon by an outside force. Force is equal to mass times acceleration. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay?
third law has the most significance to lift production.
Jadi yang paling dipakai adalah yang ketiga nih.
Apply to
For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction ya. Yang dipakai di penerbangan.
The third law has the most significance to lift production. Newton's third law states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Jadi kalau ada aksi, bakal ada reaksi yang berlawanan ya. Atau sama dengan, atau yang berlawanan. Reaksi yang berlawanan atau sama dengan.
If you stick your hand out of a moving car's window, you will notice that your hand will want to lift up.
Nah, kalian pernah nggak nih taruh tangannya keluar gini, lagi naik motor atau naik mobil, nanti tangannya bakal dapat lift. Ini basicnya aerofoil, cara pesawat bisa terbang nih bisa dicobain di sini. Kalau kalian lagi naik mobil atau lagi naik motor, tangannya kayak gini aja nih.
By rotating your hand, you are deflecting the air that comes in contact with your hand.
Jadinya nih kita nih deflect air yang nabrakin tangan kita nih.
Downward, and as a result, the air will push your hand up.
Nah, ini makanya gara-gara ada angin dari udara dari sini, makanya dia bikin lift ke sini nih. Makanya tangan kita bisa kayak terbang-terbang gitu kalau di luar mobil.
Is similar to how a wing works. In normal flight, as air flows around the wing,
Nah, ini kalau normal, jadinya nih sayap, ada udara yang melewati sayap begini ya.
the air gets deflected downward. As
Jadinya udara bakal deflect ke bawah gini. Ini ceritanya udah bikin angle of attack nih. Udah dikasih angle of attack nih, karena udah ke atas ya.
flows smoothly around it, and as a result, the wind will lift the wing up. The other main theory of lift is Bernoulli's principle.
Nah, satu lagi Bernoulli's principle.
The principle states, as the velocity of a fluid, in this case air, increases, its internal pressure decreases.
Jadi katanya
If a fluid, in this case air, increases, its internal pressure
jadi as the velocity of a fluid, in this case air, jadi velocity of fluid itu udara. Jadi kalau velocity kecepatan udara meningkat, internal pressure decrease ya. Tekanannya di dalam berkurang.
decreases. We can visualize this by having air flow through a tube with a narrower middle section, which we call
Nah, ini cerita ada udara yang masuk ke tabung yang dalamnya lebih sempit ya.
a venturi.
Kayak venturi gitu ya, kayak begini ya.
As air enters the
Nah, ini udara ceritanya masuk ke sini.
tube, it is traveling at a known velocity and pressure.
Nah, ini jadinya velocity and pressure-nya nggak ada sini, sama aja.
When it arrives at the narrower portion, the velocity increases to allow the air through.
Jadinya kecepatannya itu meningkat ya, untuk supaya udaranya lewat.
As the air's velocity increases, the air's pressure
Jadi velocity-nya udaranya naik, jadinya pressure-nya, tekanannya turun.
decreases. Then, as the air exits the narrower
Nah, pas keluar mereka sama lagi.
portion, it returns back to its
Tuh kayak gitu, dia normal, masuk sini velocity naik, tekanan udara turun, sini normal lagi dua-duanya.
original velocity and pressure. Now, let's flatten the top part of the tube.
Nah, sekarang dia mau atasnya diratain, bawahnya masih kayak begini ya.
Granted, the effect will not be as pronounced, but there will still be a change in velocity and pressure as the air moves through. Now, how does this relate to a wing?
Nah, ini gimana, kita bakal mencoba menyambungkan kenapa begini bisa nyambung sama sayap pesawat ya. Apa namanya teorinya.
Well, if we replace the bottom protrusion of the tube with a wing,
Nah, jadinya kalau ini ceritanya ini sayap ya.
in essence, we have the same thing as a venturi.
Jadi sama aja sama venturi yang tadi ya.
As the air passes over the wing, each layer of air gets deflected less and less until finally we reach a layer where the air is not disturbed at all
Oh, jadi dia makin ke atas, makin berkurang sampai udaranya tidak keganggu ya. Yang ini keganggu, makin ke atas ini biasa aja.
from the wing. This can be thought of as the top of the venturi. An airplane's wing is shaped similar to that of a venturi. The top is rounded while the bottom is relatively flat.
Jadi yang atasnya bentuknya begini, bawahnya flat ya, seperti tadi ya.
Because of this, the air traveling over the wing will increase in speed.
Jadinya yang di atas ini udaranya lebih cepat. Ini lebih cepat travelnya daripada yang di bawah ya. Dia harus set gitu. Karena dia lebih jauh nih. Dan harus ketemu di titik sini. Udara yang ini kan kebagi dua. Udara yang di sini sama di sini. Ngelewatin ini harus ketemu di sini. Gimana caranya supaya udara yang tadi kesininya ketemu? Mereka harus lebih cepat supaya ketemu di sini. Paham nggak? Nggak paham ya.
And as a result, we'll have a lower pressure than the air below the wing.
Nah, jadinya di atas pressure-nya, tekanan udaranya lebih rendah dari yang pada di bawah. Seperti tadi kan, velocity naik, tekanannya menurun. Jadinya di atas tekanannya lebih rendah dari yang di bawah.
This imbalance in pressure is called a pressure gradient.
Nah, ini imbalance pressure ini, tekanan yang nggak seimbang ini namanya imbalance gradient.
Wings are designed to create this kind of pressure gradient because air
Pressure gradient ya. Jadinya ini ya. Saya menciptakan ini ya.
always moves from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure.
Jadi high pressure ke low pressure.
Since the wing is stuck in between the two areas of unequal pressure, it is lifted towards the area of low pressure by the force of the higher pressure air trying to move to the low pressure side of the wing.
Jadi terjadinya lift, high pressure mau bergerak ke low pressure, makanya terjadinya lift ya.
the higher pressure air trying to move to the low pressure side of the wing. Now that we've covered the two theories behind lift, let's discuss all the factors that determine how much lift is produced. The best way to discuss this is through the lift equation.
Nah, ini sekarang kita bahas seberapa banyak lift bisa dihasilkan melalui lift equation ya, formulanya lift ya.
Don't worry though, this isn't a math lesson. Lift equals 1/2 times the air density
Jadinya lift sama dengan setengah air density
times the surface area of the wing
terus kali surface area of the wing, seberapa lebar wingnya, seberapa lebar sayap pesawat,
times the airplane's velocity squared
dikali kecepatan pesawat square
times the coefficient of lift.
dikali coefficient of lift.
For the most part, this should be fairly straightforward. The only one that might confuse you is coefficient of lift. The coefficient of lift is simply just a number.
Oke, terus ini coefficient lift, jadi itu cuma nomor doang ya, biar nggak bingung ya. Coefficient lift equal 0.00, nomor doang.
That is associated with a particular shape of an airfoil.
Jadinya, jadi coefficient lift lebih seperti bagaimana bentuk sayap pesawat, sayapnya ya, dia mau naik apa turun, cekung apa lurus saja.
As well as the airfoil's angle of attack.
Sama airfoil angle of attack.
Generally speaking, there are really only two ways a pilot can control the amount of lift the wings can generate, airspeed or angle of attack.
Jadinya pilot cuma bisa ngontrol lift dari airspeed sama angle of attack. Airspeed itu biasanya dari power ya, dari thrust-nya. Kalau angle of attack dari kita tarik itu flight control-nya.
The faster the airplane travels, the more lift the wings will generate.
Jadinya lebih cepat pesawatnya bergerak, kita bakal punya lebih banyak lift.
Similarly, the higher the airplane's angle of attack, the more lift the wings will generate.
Terus jadi kalau kita angle of attack-nya lebih tinggi, kita bakal punya lift lebih tinggi.
However, there's a limit to this angle.
Terus kita punya limit buat angle of attack ya. Kalau ketinggian angle of attack-nya, pesawatnya stall, liftnya hilang ya, nggak bisa tinggi-tinggi juga.
Let's look at this using a chart. The chart is
Nah ini chartnya.
plotting the coefficient of lift of a particular wing as its angle of attack increases.
Nah ini graph coefficient of lift sama angle of attack nih.
Lift will continue to increase until a certain angle of attack, called the critical angle of attack.
Nah dia coefficient lift bakal naik terus sampai angle of attack tertentu. Nah di situ namanya critical angle of attack ya. Habis itu dia turun nih, stall dia, nggak punya, liftnya hilang.
After this point, the wings will still create lift, but the amount of lift created is decreased.
Nah,
This
dia decrease tuh.
is called a stall.
Tuh dia stall. Jadi naik kita lift bisa naik terus udah ke limit lewat pesawatnya stall tuh.
More information on stalls will be covered in a future lesson.
Nah nanti stall dibahas lagi ya di pelajaran berikutnya. Kita continue ini dulu.
In addition to the aircraft's airspeed and angle of attack, there are other factors that affect the amount of lift created by the wings. However, the pilot does not have control over these factors. These factors have to do with the design of the wing itself and consist of the wing's planform, camber, aspect ratio, and wing area.
Nah ini
Consist of the wing's planform, camber, aspect ratio, and wing area.
Nah ini faktor-faktor yang mendukung lift tapi pilot nggak bisa ngatur ya buat nambahin lift ya, karena ini platform, chamber, aspect ratio sama wing area ini dibuat dari pabrik nih. Kalau kita kan cuma bisa ngontrol dari flight control sama power tadi.
Yeah. The wing's planform refers to the shape of the wing when viewed.
Nah platform itu bentuk sayap pesawat ya. Ini kalau pesawat jet banyak yang pakai begini, ada juga pesawat kayak begini, ada yang begini sayapnya. Ini pesawat tempur biasanya ada yang kayak begini nih, ada yang kayak begini lah.
From above. The camber is the curvature of the wing.
Nah, camber itu bentuk ini nih, bentuk sayapnya nih, bentuk ininya dari samping.
A wing with zero camber
Nah, ini zero camber nih.
would be considered symmetrical about the chord line.
Nah, dia simetrik sama chord line nih, sama atas bawah ya.
Camber is usually designed into an airfoil to increase the maximum coefficient of lift.
Nah, dia camber ini didesain buat increase maximum coefficient of lift ya.
And thereby minimizing the stall speed of the aircraft.
Terus dia minimize the stall speed of the aircraft. Jadinya dia minimalisir ya, minimin stall speednya pesawat.
The wing's aspect ratio is the relationship between the length and width of the wing.
Nah, aspect ratio itu panjang sayap sama lebar sayap pesawat ya.
Generally, the higher the aspect ratio, the more efficient the generation of lift is.
Jadinya makin gede aspect ratio-nya, makin generation lift-nya makin bagus ya.
For example, gliders have really long, skinny
Nah, ini glider biasanya sayapnya panjang banget nih, supaya dia bisa gliding gitu ya dia.
wings, giving them a higher aspect ratio compared to a Cessna 172.
Nah, jadi dia aspect ratio-nya lebih tinggi daripada pesawat Cessna di sini nih.
Finally, there is the wing area, which is simply the total surface area of the wing.
Nah, ini wing area total ini nih, luas sayap pesawat.
The larger the wing area, the more lift the wing can produce.
Nah, jadinya kalau dia makin besar, dia bakal bisa menghasilkan lift lebih besar.
Of the wings. The larger the wing area, the more lift the wing can produce. Looking back at the lift equation, we can see that the wing area is incorporated into
Jadi wing area itu sama dengan surface area ini ya, S ya.
the equation. The rest of the wing shape factors are merged into the coefficient of lift variable.
Nah, sisanya jadinya coefficient.
Rest of the wing shape
Jadi wing shape factor sisanya masuk ke coefficient of lift.
factors are merged into the coefficient of lift variable.
Bagus juga ya
We
videonya.
saw
Bagus juga ya videonya guys ya, dijelasin lebih detail.
how pilots can control the lift generated by the wings by changing the aircraft's airspeed and angle of attack. However, most airplanes come equipped with one or more additional ways for the pilot to manipulate the wings, and in essence, change the shape of the wings.
Jadi ya pilot tuh ngontrolnya dari bentuk sayap pesawat ya, cuma bisa gitu ya. Kayak ngeluarin flap di sini ya. Jadi dimanipulasi bentuk sayapnya.
These are called high lift devices. The
Jadinya dia ngasih high lift device ya, flaps ini. Jadi dia menghasilkan, karena surface wing area-nya jadi lebih lebar, dia menghasilkan more lift.
most common of which are trailing edge flaps, or just flaps for short. High lift devices, such as flaps, are designed to increase the lift and drag
Jadi ya buat flaps itu buat increase lift sama drag ya. Biasanya buat landing nih.
generated by the wings at low air speeds.
Supaya bisa speednya lebih rendah ya. Bisa juga buat short fit takeoff.
Flaps are particularly important for the approach and landing phases of flight. Use of flaps during a landing allows the pilot to fly at a fairly steep descent angle.
Jadinya kalau pakai flap kita bisa landingnya lebih steep ya, lebih bisa ditunjumin landingnya ya. Bukan tunjumin pesawatnya tapi lebih curam landingnya. Dengan airspeed yang lebih rendah lagi. Jadi pesawatnya lebih gampang dikontrol.
Without gaining airspeed, and allows the airplane to touch down at a much slower airspeed.
Terus jadinya bisa touchdown dengan speed lebih rendah ya, dengan kecepatan lebih rendah.
Flaps can generally be lowered in steps, or
Terus flap biasanya bisa diturunin step by step ya, jadi nggak langsung semua nih. Ini ada 8 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees.
more precisely
Kalau gue dulu pesawatnya Cessna 10, 20, 30.
in set degree amounts. Initially, the input of flaps will increase lift by
Tuh, jadinya makin diturunin flapsnya, liftnya naik.
a larger amount with only a small increase in
Terus dragnya naiknya dikit, liftnya naiknya banyak, dragnya naiknya dikit.
drag. As the flaps are extended further, usually around the halfway point, lift increases only slightly, and
Jadi makin ini dia naik dikit lagi.
the amount of drag created increases.
Nah, tapi dragnya bakal naik lebih banyak ya, ini makanya bisa ngurangin speed ya. Kalau kita mau turunnya cepat tuh pakai drag tuh, gue biasanya tuh juga pakai speed brake, pakai drag, pakai flaps juga bisa.
Rapidly. Now that we have an idea on how lift is generated, let's discuss the 3 remaining forces,
Nah, tadi lift ya, garis besar lift kayak gitu. Sekarang kita sisa 3 force-nya dibahas nih.
starting with weight. Weight is the force of gravity, pulling
Nah, weight-nya, force yang gravitasi force-nya.
the aircraft back down to the earth.
Nah, dia yang mencoba membawa pesawatnya kembali ke tanah nih, ke bumi.
This force always acts vertically downward to the center of the earth.
Jadinya dia selalu center of the earth ya, langsung aksinya ke bawah gitu.
No matter what the aircraft's attitude, the weight force always extends and pivots from the center of gravity.
Dan dia selalu bereaksi di center of gravity-nya pesawat ini ya, weight itu. Nggak di sini, tapi di tengah-tengah sini.
also known as its CG.
Biasanya center of gravity itu CG ya kita ngomongnya.
Keep in mind that the weight of an aircraft is not constant. It will vary with the equipment that is installed.
Jadinya berat pesawat itu nggak selalu sama ya, center of gravity-nya tergantung kita taruh barangnya di mana bisa jadi center of gravity bisa di belakang, bisa di depan. Jadi makanya di tengah itu paling bagus biar balance, kita terbangnya lebih enak.
As well as the passengers, cargo, and fuel.
Tuh tergantung passenger, cargo, sama fuel center of gravity itu.
Throughout the flight, the weight will slowly be decreasing as fuel is burned to power the engine.
Jadi itu weight itu berkurang, berkurang karena fuelnya berkurang kalau kita terbang ya.
Next is thrust.
Nah sekarang kita bahas thrust ya.
Thrust is the forward acting force,
Itu dia forward acting force ya, force yang membawa kita ke depan.
opposing drag,
Yang melawan drag. Drag kalau kita ke depan pasti ada opposite-nya drag.
which propels the airplane through the air. In most general aviation airplanes, thrust is generated from the propeller.
Nah biasanya Cessna pakai propeller ya.
Larger jets get their thrust from their turbine engine.
Nah biasanya pakai turbine engine tuh kalau pesawat jet ya kayak gua Airbus 320 tuh pakai turbine jet.
Similar to lift, thrust is generated from the same principles as lift, but in a horizontal direction. A propeller is an airfoil. As such, as it rotates, its blades accelerate the surrounding air towards the aft end of the aircraft.
Nah ini jadinya tuh sebenarnya propeller itu kayak sayapnya aerofoil tadi, cuma dia muter nih, terus dia bikin force bikin ini nih perputaran ke belakang, jadinya terjadinya thrust.
And as blades accelerate the surrounding air towards the aft end of the
Nah
aircraft.
dia ke belakang gitu perputarannya, nyiptain thrust itu.
And as illustrated with Newton's third law, the equal and opposite reaction results in the aircraft moving forward. And
Nah jadi ada aksi ada reaksi ya, jadi dia bikin pesawat ke depan ya.
finally, we reach our last force, drag.
Nah yang terakhir nih drag.
Drag is the force opposing thrust,
Nah dia yang melawan thrust ini ya, opposing thrust nih.
which limits the forward speed of an aircraft.
Ya dia yang ngelimit pergerakan pesawat ke depan ya, karena drag itu.
Drag is the force opposing thrust, which limits the forward speed of an aircraft. There are two types of drag,
Nah drag itu ada dua tipe.
parasite and induced
Ada parasite drag, ada induced drag.
drag. Parasite drag is a direct result of the air resistance as the airplane flies through the air.
Nah parasite drag itu drag yang terjadi pas kita terbang ke depan ya, itu parasite drag.
There are three types of parasite
Nah
drag.
parasite drag dibagi 3 lagi.
Form drag, interference drag, and skin friction
Nah ada form drag, interference drag, sama skin friction drag.
drag. To learn about these three types, check out the bonus video on
Nah
parasite drag.
itu dibahas di video yang lain guys, nggak di sini.
The amount of parasite drag varies with the speed of the aircraft.
Nah jadi jumlah parasite drag itu tergantung sama kecepatan pesawat guys.
As the airplane's speed increases, the amount of parasite drag will increase.
Jadinya kecepatan pesawat naik, parasite dragnya naik guys.
In fact, the amount of parasite drag you experience is directly proportional to the square of the airspeed.
Nah jadi airspeednya naik, parasite dragnya juga naik ya, mereka sama ya barengan.
For example, an aircraft traveling at 120 knots will experience 4 times as much parasite drag as the same plane going 60 knots.
Jadinya tuh 120 knots, parasite dragnya 4 kali lebih banyak dari 60 knots. Padahal dia speednya kali 2 doang, tapi dragnya tuh dikali 4.
The same altitude. The other kind of drag is lift-induced drag,
Nah sekarang yang kedua, lift-induced drag.
more commonly called induced drag. While the wing is creating lift, behind the wing is a downwash of air.
Nah jadinya pas dia bikin lift, ada udara yang ke bawah, downwash ya.
At the same time, the airflow around the wingtips are creating vortices
Nah ini juga bikin vortices ya,
spiral from below the wing
Nah dia spiral gitu.
to above the wing.
Nah dia muter ke atas gitu. Cush.
As these vortices wrap around the wing, they actually change the downwash angle of the air flowing over the wing.
Nah dia ganti airflow-nya ke bawah gini ya.
This, in effect, tilts the direction of the lift created backwards.
Nah makanya dari ke atas liftnya jadi ke belakang sini.
This shift from completely vertical lift to slightly aft lift is due to induced drag.
Nah, ini terjadi karena induced drag nih dari yang ke atas sampai ke belakang gini.
Completely vertical lift to slightly aft lift is due to induced drag. Induced drag is higher at slower airspeeds.
Nah, induced drag itu terjadi di slower airspeed, lebih pelan ya. Dia beda sama parachute drag.
And decreases as we increase speed.
Nah, dia induced drag itu berkurang kalau kita naikin kecepatan udara.
This is because induced drag is worse when the airplane is flying at a high angle of attack.
Nah, jadi induced drag itu bakal lebih banyak kalau kita naikin angle of attack. Tuh lihat tuh aerodynamic force ini induced drag-nya naik ya. Karena dia terjadinya kalau airspeed-nya pelan. Karena kalau kita naik angle of attack, otomatis airspeed kita bakal pelan nih walaupun kita udah full power ya. Apalagi pesawat Cessna itu.
Like when we are flying slowly. One way that a pilot can experience reduced induced drag is by flying in ground effect.
Nah, ini induced drag kalau lagi ground effect nih.
When flying within a wingspan of the ground itself changes the downwash of the air flowing over the wings. This shifts the lift vector forward and reduces the amount of induced drag.
Nah, kita kalau landing itu induced drag-nya berkurang tuh.
Pilots can take
Gara-gara ground effect itu.
advantage of ground effect when performing a soft field takeoff.
Nah, biasanya pilot gunain induced drag kalau short field takeoff.
This lets the airplane lift off the ground before the regular liftoff speed.
Nah, dia bisa terbang sebelum nyampai speednya ya, buat rotate speednya itu.
However, they'll need to hover over the ground for a few seconds to increase their speed.
Nah, tapi kita perlu melayang di atas landasan untuk mendapatkan kecepatan yang kita mau.
Before they can continue to climb out. If we take both induced and parasite drag, plot them on a graph, and add them together, we get a new curve representing total drag.
Nah, ini nih dikasih curve-nya gini, induced drag, parachute drag, ada total drag di sini ya.
The lowest point on the total drag curve shows the airspeed at which we make the most amount of lift and the least amount of drag.
Nah, di sini total drag di sini nih, ini airspeed yang kita mau ya. Jadinya kita punya drag paling kecil buat airspeed paling bagus.
The airspeed at which we make the most amount of lift and the least amount of drag. This value is called L over D max.
Nah, lift and drag max, oke?
Or as pilots know it, our best glide speed.
Atau best glide speed ya.
Pilots should be familiar with this number because in the unlikely event of an engine failure, this is the speed at which they'll want to glide down to the ground.
Nah, kalau kita harus tahu speednya berapa karena kalau ada engine fail kita mau gliding sejauh mungkin pakai kecepatan itu ya.
In a no-wind condition, this speed will give the pilot the best glide ratio.
Nah, biar dapat best glide ratio kalau ada engine fail nih.
Meaning that they'll be able to stay aloft the longest to maneuver to their intended field for emergency landing.
Jadinya kita biar emergency landing nyari fieldnya yang paling bagus ya. Jadi kita biarin kecepatan itu biar dragnya paling kecil.
Note on the left side of the total drag curve. The slower you fly, the more drag you create.
Tuh total drag makin kita pelan, kita kalau ada dragnya lebih tinggi.
In this region of airspeeds, sometimes called the backside of the power curve,
Backside of the power curve namanya tuh.
the pilot will actually have to add more and more thrust to counter the high amounts of drag.
Nah, jadi kita harus kasih more thrust untuk counter high amount of drag yang tinggi ya.
Created. In fact, if they want to accelerate out of this range of airspeed, they will have to add an excessive amount of power.
Tuh jadinya engine-nya dinaikin tuh biar bisa airspeed-nya maintain tadi.
Maybe even full power. One other thing to keep in mind at slow airspeeds is that there is much less airflow traveling over the flight control surfaces.
Nah, jadinya kalau low airspeed, less air travel, udaranya lebih dikit melalui flight controls ini, airfoil ini.
As such, any input you make on the flight controls will not have the fast response.
Nah, jadinya respon di flight controlnya nggak gitu bagus ya, gara-gara udara yang lewat tuh nggak banyak.
One would be used to. The flight controls will feel mushy.
Nah, jadi flight controlnya bakal kerasa mushy ya, kayak slow respon gitu, kayak pelan kayak reaksinya.
And they may require large inputs.
Terus kita perlu kasih input lebih besar ya, perlu digerakinnya lebih besar supaya bisa bergerak.
Before any real response is felt. While the finer details of the principles of flight can seem a bit overwhelming at first, gaining a basic knowledge of how the airplane flies provides the pilot full understanding of all the forces at work and the best methods and techniques for controlling their aircraft.
Nah, ini nih, jadi ini teori dasar ini kita perlu tahu supaya kita bisa mengendalikan pesawat lebih mudah, karena kita tahu teorinya gimana pesawat bisa terbang ya.
A good pilot doesn't just drive their plane from point A to B, but instead understands the art and science of how their plane flies.
Tuh kan katanya a good pilot tuh bukan cuma bisa nyetir doang, harus ngerti gimana pesawat bisa terbang ya, dasarnya pengetahuannya kenapa pesawat terbang. Oke guys, segitu aja. Terima kasih. Sampai jumpa.